Welcome back to the brewing class. My name is Ty Stevenson, your educator here at the brewing class. And in today's episode, we're going to go over bartending and serving craft beer, as well as analyzing craft beer, because you kind of need to do that if you're going to be serving it, right? So, my experience, I ran a tap room, a 3.5 barrel brewery. I ran it for a year. 3 months into the job, and there was only 2 employees, me and the head brewer, a very small taproom brewery. And the head brewer left and got married after 2 months, and he came back for 3 weeks, and then he left. And the owner knew I brewed beer as well, so he asked me to be the head brewer, and of course I did. I asked him for a raise, as I would be the head brewer and the taproom manager, the only employee on payroll, and he denied my raise. And at that point I stopped giving a fuck, right? Like, more work and same pay? No, it doesn't work like that. He said my overtime would be my extra pay, and that's not how it works, right? Anyways, people loved me at that tap room. I was one of the main reasons people came in. I had people come in every day, and we talked for hours. Didn't get too busy, but sometimes on Saturdays, so I was sweating at the end, you know. And I also, after that, I went to go work for Stone Brewing as a bartender in Napa, and it got pretty fucking busy at Stone, and I didn't learn too much from Stone, but I did learn how they ran their business, more of a corporate business, I would say, compared to the small 3.5 barrel system I was working on. But yeah, that's a little bit of my experience in the tap room serving craft beer. And some of the first things you're going to want to do if you're a brand new bartender, just got a job at a brewery or tap room, working in the tap room, you want to be very friendly. Like, you should be always smiling. You want to make it very comfortable for people when they come in the door. Ask them, hey, how's it going? Your first time in Stone Brewing, XXX Brewery? Do you know a lot? Like, you don't have to ask, you don't have to hound them. Do you know craft beer? Do you know what an IPA is versus a stout? Some people might not know anything, and they're a little bit nervous to admit that. But that's not, like, you shouldn't look down on them for that, you know? So ask them, hey, how's it going? Make them start to get them feel comfortable, be smiley, be approachable, and give them as much samples as they like. Maybe not as much, but like 3 samples is usually my max I like to give for people, and especially if they don't know craft beer. And ask them, like, okay, what beer do you typically like? Oh, I like Budweiser. Oh, sure, okay. So maybe give them your lightest beer you have. Maybe it's a Pilsner or something. Or maybe if you have a pale ale or even an IPA, you can have them sample that. And if you have something that's just tasting spectacular, like a Imperial Stout, just give them a little sample. And they may have never had a stout before in their life, and they ended up truly loving it, but they've never had the chance to try it. So maybe give them a sample of that. And when you give somebody something, they feel obligated to give you something in return. This helps you get tips, and it helps you get a good sale, right? And that's sadly what the business is after, is the sale. For you, it's to make them feel friendly, comfortable, and happy, and enjoy the time at their taproom brewery. So, okay, you gave them a sample of your IPA, and they really like it, and they say, oh wow, I've never had anything like this, it's very tropical. And they don't know how to use descriptor words very much, like it's very citrusy or piney or dank. They say, oh, it's fruity, or oh, it's very bitter. Sure, okay. And you may say, yeah, you can, it depends, this is all how you want. You can say, I get tropical in the front, and then it gets a little bit peachy at the end, and when I take a sip, it hits hard on the mouthfeel, but its finish is very smooth, and it doesn't leave you with a lingering bitterness. You can go that detail if you really want, but it's not necessary. You don't have to talk about beer at all to some people. Some people don't care about the analysis of the beer. They just want to talk about the sports football game yesterday, right? After you've given them their beer, you have to go pour it. So let's say you pour it, you have 12 taps, and it's on tap number 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The first thing you do is you get a clean glass. You look at the clean glass, and you see there's no smears on it, no lipstick, and there's no water residue, nothing like that. And if you have a rinser, rinse it real quick, and you'll put it up to the tap, 45-degree angle, and you'll pull the tap back all the way. Don't slightly go, pull it all the way, and it'll start to go, and you'll notice if it's over-carbonated, under-carbonated, or perfectly carbonated. And if it's perfectly carbonated, you go 45 degrees and you can slowly start to tilt the beer 90-degree angle upright from the 45-degree angle. So you'll go like that and it'll come upright, and you want about 1 or 2 fingers worth of head at the top, right about right there, right? And that's a perfect pour. And if some foam starts coming over, get a clean rag and wipe the beer that's spilt over. Nobody likes to touch a mug glass with beer and it's all sticky on your hand. They do that in Europe and it's frustrating. And wipe the bottom if it's sticky too. Give them a coaster, they like coasters. And then you charge them, right? They can continue to talk, blah, blah, blah. But if the beer's undercarbonated, you can pour it and you can see, shit, it's kind of undercarbonated. So you want to hold it more upright for a longer period of time. So 45-degree angle, oh shit, it's not carbonated. Go quickly to 90-degree angles as you can start to build that head over time as you're pouring. But if it's overcarbonated, you might need to pour it slowly, always at the 45-degree angle, never go upright. The more upright you are, the more dispersion from the CO2 happens. It builds the head up. And if it's overcarbonated, you can go check your CO2 gauge. Maybe the PSI is too high, or maybe your beer lines are too short or too long, or maybe the keg is the beer itself, the keg is too carbonated. And if it's undercarbonated, same thing, just flipped, right? Maybe you need to turn the PSI up a little bit. Maybe the beer line's too short or too long, or the keg itself is undercarbonated. And that's the basics of serving craft beer. It's all about the customer, make them feel friendly. And as your job, like, I know when I worked at Stone, I had to ask one of the managers, can I sample this beer? And it was frustrating for me. Like, if you're the bartender, you're the craft beer expert, you need to be trying these beers pretty daily, right? Maybe you don't never get drunk on the job, even though some people may do it from time to time, but try them. Like, smell it, look at it. Yeah, look, smell, taste. How's it look? Is it an IPA, but it turns out black? Well, that's not right. That's not an IPA. Or if it's a Pilsner and it's hazy, oh shit, something's up, right? First thing is the look. How's the head retention? How's the color? How's the opacity? Like, clear, hazy. Next thing is your smell. It's an IPA. It should smell tropical, dank, citrusy, piney, floral, herbal, anything like that, right? Whereas a stout, it's going to smell more malty, roasty, chocolatey, even coffee-like maybe. It depends on the style of beer that they get. And the more you try different styles of beer, the more you know how that beer is supposed to taste, how an IPA should taste, how it should smell, how it should look. So you looked at it, you give it a good smell, maybe 2 smells, whatever. And then you can go ahead and kind of chew it, move it around in your mouth a little bit, get all your palate for 2 or 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds, and then you swallow it. How in the mouthfeel? How is it? Very dry, bitter, crisp, or is it a little bit more smooth, bigger mouthfeel, more sweetness, coats your mouth a little bit more? And then you swallow it. Does it leave you with a lingering bitterness? Is my mouth still bitter right now? Is it astringent? I don't like this bitterness. Or was it bitter but it left you clean, crisp bitterness and it goes away very shortly? Does it leave you alcohol-y, very burn-like? Or does it leave you wanting more? And those are all the things that go into analyzing of craft beer. So in general, that's the basics of bartending and craft beer analysis. Look, smell, taste, make the customer friendly, try beers, and that's about it. So if you have any other questions, I can help you. My name's Ty Stevenson, your educator at the brewing class here. And thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.